Hi gang, Mean Gene Okerlund here on My 24, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report. All of the news about wrestling, not only here in Milwaukee, but throughout the world. Stay up to date. Join us every Saturday night.
Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. We look back at all the things in WWE, including Raw and SmackDown, and this past Thursday night's Impact Wrestling, along with an in-depth segment where we take a look at the value of championship belts in professional wrestling. All that along with the Event Center and this week's Diamond of the Ring right here, right now on My 24 Milwaukee and the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Wrestling Report, prime time Saturday night. Davey and Nelson sitting here alongside David Octavius. I can't even do it because you know what I really want you to be doing?
What?
Is fandangoing. You promised you were going to start this show with
No. Do you realize with the new contract I signed, all that stuff is null and void now?
You are null and void. You have been null and void for quite some time, especially since you are a two-time loser of the PWR draft. We're flipping a coin tonight to determine who goes first.
Oh, you're going to flip a coin, all right.
Huh?
Okay, good.
But before all that, let's go to this
I should pick first.
Why?
Because I lost. The runner-up always picks first.
Some kind of reparations or something, huh?
No, not at all.
Let's go to this week's WWE report, ladies and gentlemen, and let's start with the goings-on on this past Monday night's WWE Raw. The brand new World Heavyweight Champion, a man who won it by cashing in Money in the Bank just last week, loses 1, 2, 3 clean in the center of the ring. Dolph Ziggler gets beat by Jack Swagger and David Hero. I was not a fan of this at all.
Well, why?
Because he's a brand new champion. He needs to show us that he deserves to be champion, and losing clean in the center of the ring when so many other shenanigans could have occurred was the wrong thing to do.
I disagree. Here's why. Because it shows that Dolph Ziggler is a weakened champion. Now, on paper, it looks like the playing field is completely level going into Extreme Rules with that triple threat match. Because he cashed in on Del Rio, who wasn't 100%. Now he lost to Jack Swagger. So now, it's evil. It's even. It's balanced out. And now, on paper, anyone can win that match. I think it was good booking. He's still the champ. He's still the champ.
But I don't like that he got pinned shoulders.
Was it a non-title match?
Yes.
Okay, you know that's what happens in non-title matches.
He's no Antonio Cesaro. We'll talk about titles later on as we go in depth. But I didn't think it should be a clean.
You just don't like Jack Swagger.
He had a great win over Chris Jericho this past Friday night on SmackDown.
Right, which was great. It's on the SmackDown brand. That's where he's not on the Raw brand. He's the SmackDown champion.
He won the title on what show?
On the Raw Super Show. After WrestleMania, where everyone's watching.
And he got pinned 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring on what show?
On Raw, which is not his show. That means he shouldn't have been on there.
Speaking of shouldn't have been on there, another man decided for himself that he should not have been on there this past Monday night. CM Punk walks out of the ring and out of the arena this past Monday night after trying to explain where his head was after his loss to The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Almost like he lost his smile.
Almost like he did, but he did not submit and relinquish a championship belt as Shawn Michaels did in '97. But
I guess he didn't have one to give up.
This was very similar. Rumors and reports are CM Punk injured in several ways, maybe having some challenges with the amount of time he wants to spend in WWE going forward. Regardless of all that, we may or may not see a lot of CM Punk over the course of the next few weeks.
And that's fine and that's good. You know why? Because CM Punk had that long reign. How many days was it?
454.
It was that many? He was on TV every week.
Yeah.
Except when he was hurt for a little bit, so that kind of
the company for the last
exactly. Year. So get him off TV, let him come back. He'll be refreshed. The fans are going to look forward to seeing him again, and now he gets his reboot, which is what he needs right now.
But does WWE need CM Punk more than he needs WWE?
Well, of course they would like to have his star power on their main show, but right now he needs to be healthy to be effective. And if he's beat up and not healthy, he's not going to have the CM Punk type quality matches.
Brand new United States champion crowned as Kofi Kingston defeated Antonio Cesaro in what wasn't for one time a non-title matchup in which Cesaro lost. Big win for Kofi Kingston. Post-match interview, he loves being U.S. champ, blah, 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 blah.
Well, who wouldn't love being the champion?
This belt, though, has meant nothing over the last, 380 days?
Cesaro's had it for quite a while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
240 days.
Who knew?
8 months.
Who knew?
You know, and it's unfortunate because Cesaro is a talented performer.
Even at yodeling.
I am a big fan of Cesaro. It's amazing Kofi Kingston, the guy that's gotten beat more than a drum for the past 3 or 4 months, is the guy that now is the U.S. champion. Not sure if that was the right way to go, but
Fans love Kofi.
They do, but I mean, he's been low mid-card. I think someone else could have used it more. You know what? They could have put on Biggie Langston.
Really?
Sure, why not? And then you put gold with Dolph and Big E. They got that. Let AJ win the Divas Championship.
It's like their own little horseman. Does
Exactly.
Fandango need a title like that? Would that help or hurt him?
Not yet.
Because, according to the IWC, he flopped on Monday night. It was a one-week fad.
I
cared,
think
that's not what I heard
if
at all.
Fandango does become the IC champion, it'll be at SummerSlam. No, he won't be U.S. champion.
Why not?
Because he's on the Raw brand. He's a Raw brand
Brock
guy.
Lesnar comes out, attacks the three-man band, and then he and Paul Heyman challenge Triple H to an old-school cage match at Extreme Rules. This chapter
Poor
not
Heath
complete.
Slater. Did you see the F5s he took
Both of them.
on the gimmick fence?
Yeah, he's a workhorse.
Oh,
Heath Slater, he takes a beat and he keeps on ticking.
talk about a nutcracker.
I'm
That
sorry?
was ridiculous how he got
landed
dropped.
on his gut.
That's maybe what you saw.
Anyways, this match, though, seemingly going to be one of the, if not the main event at Extreme Rules coming in.
Well, the main event's going to be Ryback and Cena.
Okay. Another cage
don't-
match, though, from these three. This being the rubber match, David Hero. Each one has a win over the other.
And I think Brock Lesnar is going to beat Triple H in the cage. I can't see Brock Lesnar losing another match right now, especially if he's going to be primed and groomed to headline WrestleMania 30.
Ryback had a lot to say this past Monday night. A detailed explanation, sort of reminded me of Bully Ray's explanation of the aces and eights. Very well done. I think it was very smart for them to do that backstage versus live in the ring. But Ryback explained why he.
Did you like that? You really liked that?
Last week.
You liked it? You liked that? Ryback was whiny and complaining?
But it made sense. It flowed. They showed clips of these things. They showed why he was upset with John Cena. And again, I think it made sense, especially with the way the show ended, with Ryback standing over on the ramp as the Shield attacked John Cena this past Monday night.
It did make sense for him saying that Cena was never there when the Shield went after him.
You were never there for me, John.
I get that, but we're talking about a guy that would put sometimes 2 or 3 people on his shoulders and shell shock
prance
him.
around?
Yes. Didn't need help for that, right?
Right.
They're trying too hard to make Ryback a heel.
Really?
And it's gonna, yes,
I think it took this past Monday night, though.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think enough of the grown-up fans despise John Cena enough that they're going to cheer for Ryback to beat up John Cena.
Interesting.
It's accurate.
Last night, SmackDown, Fandango starts off the show.
I don't understand why he was there. He's a Raw talent. See, they're confusing. They're crossing the streams by having these guys go back and forth.
David, I'd like to explain to you one last time. There is no more brand extension. Raw brand, Superstar, or SmackDown brand matters not. Doesn't matter on how
Wait. So Extreme Rules is not the SmackDown pay-per-view?
It hasn't been for years.
Okay.
So give it the times. Get into the present.
How come John Cena is not regularly on SmackDown?
That's a good question, David.
Okay.
I can't answer that. But
all right, there you have it.
He has
See?
been on SmackDown recently.
On the holiday
The
show.
Rock has as well. Not on the holiday.
But
I'm
that's-
not going to sit here and have a Fox News style argument with you over something that has no substance, that you're trying to make into something
No,
that has
I'm
substance.
not. The
We're talking
reason
about
Cena and The
SmackDown
Rock were on
last week,
SmackDown was to
Fandango.
promote WrestleMania.
Why don't you go Fandango yourself, okay?
That's rude. Hashtag rude. R-U.
Some great matchups on SmackDown last Friday night as well, even after Lillian Garcia was asked if she had Fandangoed before. Fandango then beating Santino.
Why do they always mess with Lillian? It's strudeled, fandangoed. I don't get it.
New finisher from Fandango, sort of similar to the mic check from Ken Anderson.
Well, you know why? Because he's not going to blow out a hip doing that leg drop from the top rope for the next 5-6 years.
Booker T, Teddy Long, seemingly some type of dissension between those two.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Booker remembers when Teddy used to manage him. Doesn't like how he was treated.
Yes, Harlem Heat.
Yes.
I needed you to tell me that. I forgot all about that.
Because I'm the historian.
You are historically something, that's for sure. Speaking of history, the United States champion went up against the Intercontinental champion, Kofi Kingston, defeating Wade Barrett. This after Wade Barrett with that strong showing this past Wednesday night on main event.
I don't get it. What they should. Wade Barrett is the Raw Intercontinental champion. I hate the fact that
Sheamus attacks Mark Henry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to that matchup if it happens at Extreme Rules. And again, recapping Dolph Ziggler's night on Raw. By the way, them recapping Dolph Ziggler's Money in the Bank cash-in its entirety this week on Raw from last week on Raw, I thought was fantastic, and maybe negated the fact that he lost that matchup this past Monday night. But Alberto Del Rio finally gets a win over Jack Swagger this past Friday night. As you said, the playing field now level.
It is now level, and that's why they did it. Everyone has beaten everybody. Now we're just waiting for Ricardo and Zeb to get involved.
I wore my Zeb tie on Wednesday.
I saw that. Yes.
Went in depth looking at how to avoid the WrestleMania hangover. The Shield, mocking John Cena.
Were they mocking him?
On the Titantron, yeah.
Or did they beat him?
Did you watch SmackDown? You're one of those people, aren't you?
Well, no, you know what?
Live.
I thought we were still stuck on Raw. Because Cena never really shows up on SmackDown. That's why I was confused.
Because he can't focus, ladies and gentlemen. That's this week's WWE report. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, David Hero, hopefully you can get your focus back because it's this week's Diamond of the Ring.
Oh.
Linda Kay's got the Event Center, where we go in-depth on why championships should matter in professional wrestling, along with this week's TNA Impact Wrestling report. This is the Pro Wrestling Report PrimeTime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. We'll be right back.
Go for it. Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy with Denzel Washington. We want to say hi to everybody at the
PWR show. Dave Hero, you're doing a great job with your benefit.
Dave, yeah. Are you kidding me?
No, swear
I
to God.
practically raised this kid. Darn right. Hey, Dave. I didn't know he was up there.
Hey, and of course, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it!
Hey, now that was uncalled for.
This week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring is the new United States Heavyweight Champion Kofi Kingston, who defeated Antonio Cesaro after 240-plus day reign as U.S. Champion. Yes, that Kofi Kingston, the guy that was in the 3-man booth for the WrestleMania pre-show, finally getting some gold. Your Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring, U.S. Champ Kofi Kingston.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee's Turner Hall on Friday, July 12th for live action. Get details and tickets now at ROHWrestling.com. Be sure to check out PWRshow.com for details on all the latest events coming to the area. That's it for this week's Event Center presented by Gruber Law Offices, and we'll see you at the matches.
Thank you, Linda Kay, over in Studio X.
Does Linda Fandango?
Yeah, you saw her Fandango last week, right?
With you, but just in general.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Let's go in-depth, though, ladies and gentlemen, and talk about a subject that is very, very interesting as of late. Last Monday night, the new World Heavyweight Champion, Dolph Ziggler, was pinned 1-2-3 in the middle of the ring by Jack Swagger in only his second title defense. A lot of people, including me, are not pleased with this loss for the champion in a non-title match. And it got me thinking, what has happened to the pedestal that champions used to stand on? I remember the days of all champions in wrestling frequently defending their championships and winning because as champion, it made them stronger. These frequent non-title losses, especially in the case of Intercontinental, United States, and Tag Team Championships, have done nothing but diminish the value of these once prestigious titles. The question is, what has happened to the glamour, the pageantry that used to surround championship titles, even the Intercontinental, United States, and Tag?
Damian, if Dolph Ziggler beats Jack Swagger, he's too strong of a heel going into that match.
You are analyzing. We are going in depth.
Okay.
I'm talking about it from a fan's perspective.
Do you know why?
Back in the days of...
Because there are no more Bret Harts and Mr. Perfects and Macho Mans and
Right.
Ultimate Warriors.
There's Ziggler,
Those guys
Rhodeses,
don't exist.
Sandows.
But in the office's eyes, they're not on the same level as the guys I just listed.
But
Ziggler is not.
we didn't see Honky Tonk Man going out there and losing in a non-title matchup every week on Superstars and Challenge and
No,
everything
because
else.
they had jobbers back then. They were beating, local enhancement talents.
From what town are we in again?
Yeah, exactly. That's why. That's why they'd go out there and build it up. And they only did 2 or 3 pay-per-views a year.
Right.
Right now, there's no more. Well, there are jobbers, like 3MB. That's considered, enhancement talent.
So why have these championships if they ultimately will mean nothing?
Because your roster is so deep, not everybody can challenge for the World or WWE Championship.
So you have Antonio Cesaro, who holds the United States Championship for over 200 days.
Yeah.
In the last several weeks of that, loses every match, then finally loses a title.
Yes.
What importance did the United States Championship belt have for him?
It had none.
What importance will it have for Kofi Kingston?
And the only reason why he had it for 240 days is because for 220 days it was all non-title matches. So he couldn't lose it anyhow.
The last Intercontinental Champion of note was Cody Rhodes. And look, let's be real.
Come on.
Last October, remember at the pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, I believe it was, where he introduced the old Intercontinental Championship belt and said, this belt will mean something, blah, 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 blah. Nobody else has really given any importance
And
to
listen,
that
I'm not saying
championship.
that Cody wasn't a good champion. I'm just saying when you think of Intercontinental champions,
I said
you got to go back 10 years to think of a good one.
People remember Cody as champion.
Because it's current. That's why.
I'm saying the last one of significance.
Look at the lineage of the IC champ. You had Pat Patterson's, Tito Santana's, Macho Man's, Greg Valentine's, The Rock, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin. You had stars. And right now, the people that hold that title isn't number 2 from the top, it's number 15 from the top.
So is that the way it should be?
No, it should be number 2. Listen, when whoever was the IC champion, let's say when it was the Macho Man, he would challenge Hulk Hogan.
He was number 1. You were the number 1 contender as
You
the
were.
IC champion.
Now, of course, Tito never challenged Hulk because there are 2 baby faces. But
Right.
back then, it was a different style of program.
Yeah.
Having the number 15 or number 20 guy as the upper mid-card champion doesn't work. And the problem is all the mid-card guys keep beating each other.
So-
Nobody stands out.
So right now.
Right now, the Money in the Bank means more than any one of those 2 titles.
Absolutely it does. There's no doubt about it. Who would you have as the Intercontinental Champion right now, if not Wade Barrett? Given your philosophy you just said.
I'd have Sheamus
Sheamus makes all the sense in the world.
or Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton as IC champion would be perfect.
Because that elevates that title. It means more.
Who would you have as the United States champion right now?
Sheamus or Orton, whoever doesn't have the IC title.
And tag titles? Probably not in any jeopardy being with Team Hell No.
Not
Those
at
are
all.
actually probably the
No.
highest. of the
Or
ranked titles.
I would put the tag belts on Shield.
Yeah.
See? I just booked the entire thing. Now everything makes sense. And you know what? I like the fact that the Bellas should be the Divas champion. Because, listen, I think Caitlyn is a good-looking girl. She's very talented, but she's not ready. The Bellas have that it factor about them.
And a twist in the fact that
Exactly.
they can, what do they call it?
Twin magic.
Twin magic, yeah. But so, okay, I don't disagree with any of those names that you said, but why not? Why is that not the way it's being done? Why aren't these titles being given any significance?
Because they are throwing the dart against the board and seeing, well, let's try Cesaro. Let's try Kofi. Let's put our truth in this and see what's going to happen. And maybe this will elevate one of them. But when they constantly lose non-title matches, nobody's being elevated.
Do you think those belts are actually somewhat of an afterthought in WWE?
Honestly, sometimes I think they're a rib. They want to watch the guy carry it around in the airport. Seriously, because they don't mean a whole lot.
Does TNA have the same problem? They've got the TV championship, they've got the world championship, they've got the tag championships.
No,
there are knockouts
no.
tag championship belts as well, and then the knockouts championship.
I don't think so, because their talent roster isn't quite as deep. They don't have as many talents chasing for all the belts, but
Devon's a TV champion, right?
right. But it makes sense because of the group he's affiliated with.
Absolutely.
But when Cesaro, the U.S. champion, isn't even booked on WrestleMania, and the IC champ is the pre-show match.
Oh, still part of the event.
It's the pre-show. It's
But they
the
wrestle in
dark
front of
match.
80,000 people and nobody else.
You know what? Exactly. And whoever opens up for the Rolling Stones is still entertaining.
It's on their resume, yes.
Exactly. But still, they're not on the big show.
I think they were. You're just upset because I missed one that night.
No, I'm not. He lost it already. It doesn't make a difference.
Well, we want to hear your feedback as well, ladies and gentlemen. Visit us on our website, PWRshow.com. Follow us on Twitter at PWR Show on Twitter. We have so much more still to come, though, here on the Pro Wrestling Report on My 24 Milwaukee, including the coin flip for the 2013 PWR draft, which happens next week.
Next
right
week.
Here on this very program. And also this week's TNA
And you're
Impact
getting your
Wrestling
tattoo
Report.
next week also.
Legal is still reviewing that.
I've already talked to them.
You can't talk to my lawyer.
Of course.
Don't you watch Law and
It's
Order?
my brother. We're all good.
Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday Night continues after this.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, and it is now time to determine who will get the #1 draft pick in the 2013 fantasy draft.
Yeah.
Damien, David,
Yes.
you guys ready?
Yeah, I won. Remember last year and the year before? I'm ready.
All right, well,
Wait.
you do.
I won.
You call?
Yeah,
He gets to call.
I'm the winner. It's my chicken dinner.
All right,
Ridiculous.
what do you call, Damien?
Linda, I want heads.
Heads. All righty. Guys ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
It's like football. Oh, yeah.
Oh, which one was it?
What?
Which one was it?
I got. What are you doing?
Linda, which one was it? I had
I
tails.
believe it was this one.
What is it?
It is tails.
Tails!
David Hero, you have won.
Get out. That is. You know what?
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, what have we got next year?
How much did you pay her?
There was, what, 5 singles on the floor? TNA's up next.
If you have to resort to cheating, you cheated. You just clearly cheated. A coin flip involves a single coin.
I didn't know.
Competitive contest between two men to determine.
Is it my fault that quarter blew up in a whole bunch of different coins?
Go to this week's TNA report, ladies and gentlemen. TNA Impact Wrestling this past Thursday night featured a fight between Sting and Bully Ray. Bully Ray, the TNA champion, of course, says that he only has a few more of the quote-unquote heroes to get to, Hulk Hogan being one of them, and that he has something in store for Hogan next week. This is where you give your unimportant opinion.
So instead of Bully Ray having competitive matches, he's now chasing after the icons, even though he's the world champion on the TNA brand. Correct?
He wants to get rid of him, yes.
Shouldn't he let his henchmen do that for him? He's the champ. He should be on top of the mountain.
Well, they're busy with AJ Styles, and James Storm.
Well, no, you got Garrett and
Wes Briscoe.
Wes Briscoe in the car dealing with Kurt Angle.
Well, it was Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff who had a matchup against Kurt Angle in a handicap
I guess this is a good way to keep Jeff Hardy out of the title picture. I mean, obviously he got hurt last week, but now he's out of it, so they can eventually bring him back. TNA needs some strong baby faces right now.
Such as Petey Williams. Granted, he lost to Kenny King.
But he's not going to be a top-of-the-card guy right now. Yeah. They need guys that are going to challenge Bully Ray, and Bully Ray is doing a good job of solidifying himself as the heel going against the two icons in the company. Because you know what happens sometimes when someone is dominant as a heel? They start to be cheered. And aces and eights, that could happen with Bully Ray.
Well, and it's already happened to a degree with Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, who still want AJ Styles to join them and ignore the plea from the Aces and Eights. AJ Styles really firmly in the middle of this battle for his association.
So do you think maybe Aces and Eights is the Shield and almost Kazarian and Daniels are almost like a better version of 3MB? Well, because you know it's going to, eventually Aces and Eights are going to take out Kaz and Daniels, and this is going to keep up.
Yeah. I think you can make that analogy. However, Aces and Eights was there well before the Shield was
No,
ever there.
I'm just comparing. That's all. Just starting
Compare
conversation.
the concept of fair versus cheating.
That was fair and balanced.
Yeah, it clearly was. Anyways, AJ Styles gets a win, though, over James Storm. James Storm, I'm sorry, AJ Storm.
Who should I
AJ
take with the
Styles.
#1 pick?
I can't even, I'm flustered now. Because you have.
Do I go Cena? Do I go Ryback? I can't take any of your endorsed guys because every time I take one of them, they absolutely cost my team victory.
I think I should just go and chill with my good friend CM Punk down in Chicago. He went home. Maybe it's time for me to go home. Because
Really?
I can't. I'm going to be the professional here, and I'm going to close out this show alone. And I'm going to say AJ Styles was a true star of Impact this past Thursday night. Bully Ray continues to shine. I'm continuing to be intrigued by what's going on with the Aces and Eights. And TNA continues to look great live on television, or even recorded as it was this past week, on the road from different venues. This is a good direction for Impact Wrestling, and I'm very happy in the direction that they are going. Ladies and gentlemen.
You seem like you're sedated right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. We'll be with you again Monday night for PWR Interactive Live after WWE Raw at PWRshow.com. We'll be back with you again this Saturday night on My 24 Milwaukee, right here with the 2013 PWR Draft.
With my #1 pick.
By which I will once again select the dominant team and win in the draft. Done. Much like I got out of this tattoo thing, I'm going to get out of any chance of losing in the draft. So, for nobody else, because they're all irrelevant right now.
Irrelevant?
Damian Nelson, the star, the host, saying goodnight, and we'll see you next Saturday night.